How is it going today?
Lotus.
Lotus, Dwayne.
My name's Jasmine.
We're Dwayne N Jazz. We have Ant-Man versus Adam, Marvel versus DC.
Yes.
Death Battle!
I love when like rivaling like comic companies
into these, yeah.
basically do the same character, but like just
Different,
put like
just
a
a little
different.
different.
Like yeah, let me
Little spin
copy
on
your
it.
homework, but like
Let me
don't
change it up a little bit.
nothing.
Let me get a couple
Like,
answers wrong.
Yeah, like that's it. Like that's basically what they're doing.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
They both do the same thing. I mean,
For real, they do.
except
But-
one doesn't use ants.
Right? He uses Adam! Like, I don't know.
It's the same.
Same. Anyway, you guys have any retro for our social media and the link in the description. Don't forget to
Subscribe.
Down on it.
Ant-Man, Marvel's founding
who you
member
got?
of the Avengers.
The Atom, DC's
Adam.
legendary
Adam?
mighty
I'll go
might.
Ant-Man.
Good things come in small
I
packages.
never really cared
The
for
bigger
Ant-Man
they
too
are,
much.
the harder they fall.
We're just trying to get these out of the way.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Let's go. I wonder what the differences are between
Did
them.
you know that ants can lift 50 times their own body weight?
Yes.
That'd be like if you lifted a car straight over your head.
Man, bring that Hulk back. Where he at?
I need him.
I'm tired of the one we got now.
Futurama.
Well, I bet your calendar didn't tell you that Dr. Henry Pym, aka Hank, was considered a genius at a very early age. By 3 years old, doctors declared that he was smarter than both his parents combined.
He eventually majored in biochemistry and became one of the most successful scientists in his field. He had big ideas about shrinking the size of cargo to reduce shipping costs. Logistics.
That's smart.
All
Smart,
of which
yeah.
made him a laughing stock in the scientific community.
Laugh at me
sparking
now.
Long-lasting insecurity.
That's usually how it is in
to prove
science. They
himself.
laugh at you,
But
think
he
you're
did it.
crazy,
He
and
developed
then
a
it's
working
smart later
serum.
on.
He went
Yeah.
from laughing stock to Christmas stocking. The much better stock, right behind Bean and Life.
So, naturally, he tested the serum on himself, like any self-respecting scientist would, and shrank down to the size of an ant.
Ooh, that's
Just
scary.
when things started going south, a sweet little ant, let's call her Aunt Hathaway, swooped in and led him safely back to his lab where he could return to full size.
Hank then harnessed the serum and became the superhero, Ant-Man. Along with his new identity came a fascination in entomology, which makes total sense. Ants are fascinating.
Did you know that
And
ants
one
can
saved
talk
him.
to each other in a bunch of different ways? Through touch, sound, or even sharing information by barfing at each other.
It's actually
Ew.
called trophallaxis, and they're not barfing, per se. It's more like passing food mouth to
Kissing?
mouth.
Gross! Hank figured out how to
Yeah.
communicate with his new
No,
pets.
passing
Not
food.
by
Oh,
barfing,
never mind.
but by creating a cybernetic helmet that mirrors an ant's antenna. And he's even developed genuine relationships with some ants.
With the
like
ants.
Ulysses S.
Yeah.
Ant here.
But he didn't stop there. Hank developed a lot of amazing tech like a stinger pistol that focuses his bioenergy into a stun beam, and image-inducing camouflage to mask himself as an ant. It worked so well it fooled Reed Richards, the smartest guy on the planet.
He also built a suit that runs on that nifty serum he made back in his lab. It lets him shrink thanks to the newly discovered Pym particles. Named after himself.
Named after something. Hey, you gotta do it.
Hank.
And the Pym particle is the key
Gotta mark
to unlocking
himself.
the fundamental constants of the quantum mechanics at play here. They enable you to decrease the distance between atoms. However, in order to do that, he'd have to change the Bohr radius, the ratio of electron mass to the distance the electrons orbit an atom's nucleus.
No, thank you.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah, when you make
Duh.
a bagel pizza, you can't fit the whole
Remember
pizza
Bagel
on the
Bites?
bagel.
They still do-
Believe
they
me,
still-
I've
They
tried.
still make them.
It's
Yeah.
too small. You just gotta put
It's just
less
not my
on.
struggle meal anymore. I don't have to
Sure,
do that.
Boomstick.
Yeah.
So the Pym particles are actually displacing mass to an alternate dimension in order to maintain that ratio.
Oh, it's like having a second bagel to put the rest of your pizza on. I get it.
But if that were true, he shouldn't be able to punch with full-size strength if he has less mass.
And
Right.
he's definitely lighter, because otherwise he'd crush the sweet ants he rides. Like,
Right.
let's Ant-Man go here.
His mass is being replaced with massless neutrinos, but that doesn't adequately explain how he can have less mass and seemingly more mass at the same time.
Sure it does, Wiz. Trust him and his particles. Look at the guy. He's explaining the whole thing while wearing a lab coat. What's more
So that means it's
trustworthy
true.
than that? You're the exception.
You think you understand this?
Of course. He's small but strong. You said something about a force, so I guess you wanted ham on that pizza, but I already made the pizza.
Will you take that coat off?
No.
Like how his coat is
Regardless,
dirty.
there's
I know.
virtually no limit to Hank's ability to shrink. He can go beyond subatomic down to the underspace, a plane of existence below all realities in the Marvel Universe.
And Hank has
Below
literally
the
changed
microverse.
his biology. He's rewritten his own chemical makeup to prevent anyone else from changing his size. And
Wow.
he's used
Oh,
Pym
that's
particles
good.
so much, he's now got an energy field around him that lets him change the size of people or objects on the fly.
Whoa.
Touch or
He can change them, but they can't change
particles
him.
in the air.
He's never shy about using them either. He eventually supplied his wife and then dined with some Pym tech to become the Wasp, his partner in crime fighting.
The two ended up
Like
rubbing
Halle Berry right
shoulders
there,
with
hold on.
A-listers like Thor, Iron Man, and the Hulk to take down Loki. Ant-Man and the Wasp were actually the ones that captured him and pitched the idea of forming the Avengers.
Unfortunately, Hank's insecurities started to creep back in, and he felt that if he wanted to keep up with the big heroes, he was going to have to think bigger.
Enter a bunch of those Pym-powered alter egos like Yellow Jacket and Giant Man, where he can grow anywhere from 12 feet tall to so big he can enter the overspace, the polar opposite of
What?
the underspace.
There he met Eternity,
overspace.
who called him Earth's Scientist Supreme. Something he won't let you forget.
Hank pushed himself to these insane heights, even though he knew the strain on his
So
body
he's
could be
Scientist
fatal.
Supreme, Doctor
But he
Strange
simply
is
didn't
Sorcerer
care
Supreme.
and kept pushing himself.
Makes
Thus,
sense.
his greatest and
Ree Richard
worst
would like to call.
creation was born. Ultron.
Yep, all the Tin Man Tron was created by Hank, not Tony.
We might have that in real life. Hold on, we gotta pause. We might have that in real life.
Why are you talking about ChatGPT?
ChatGPT and all the other AIs they're making. We might have an Ultron. I'm just saying. They remember we read that, what was that thing about like ChatGPT hiring somebody somebody off
To do
Fiverr
a
to do a
captcha.
captcha two-step verification.
Yeah.
And then said that they was like, are you a bot? Because that's kind of weird. And they told them that they had like a seeing impairment. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
the
And we
thing
still
is,
we
they're-
see what's that other movie? I'm sorry,
What?
I'm gonna interrupt you. That other movie where the thing took over the dude's body. I can't remember the movie, but he was like, oh my god, it was so good. I can't remember. It was like an AI taking this guy's body. He was helping him. He was like an AI assistant.
Oh,
yeah, I can't remember that movie. It was so
forgot
good.
what it was, but it was really good. I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah.
Dang it, yeah, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. Anyway, that's all.
Thing turned out pretty much the same. Big swing and a miss there.
The fallout from Ultron left Hank in a bad place, to say the least. His guilt made him feel like an utter failure, and that his best work was behind him.
He got a lot of
This
issues. He needs to
led
go
Hank to
therapy.
do
God,
unspeakable.
all the heroes do.
A
Everybody
real
messed up.
low-life move. And even though
Oh.
mental health doesn't excuse this behavior, it was clear that Hank needed help.
Yeah.
He suffered multiple mental breakdowns, endured the physical toll of the Pym particles, and had bipolar disorder that went undiagnosed for years.
So Hank finally
Yeah.
did the best thing he could. He acknowledged his problems, got the help he needed, and
There we go.
committed to self-improvement.
There we go.
And with that help, Hank slowly started making things right.
Oh, don't bring up
He
that
rebuilt
one.
the West Coast Avengers, gave Scott Lang his blessing to become
Not the
the
one from
second
the game.
Ant-Man, and finally defeated Ultron.
He created a
I hate
backdoor
you,
Trojan
Father.
infiltration code to defeat Ultron that was so advanced it went on to replicate and evolve all on its own to create a new species made up of artificial intelligence.
They don't call him the god of modern AI for nothing. Hank has showed over and over
I
again
have
that
no
he's
idea.
an integral
Hey.
part of the Marvel Universe.
Not just by ways of his scientific contributions or victories in battle, but by proving that heroes come in all
Shapes and sizes. Yo, I already knew he was gonna say that everybody.
Just one problem. When he shrunk things, they exploded.
Wow.
Every time.
I do not see the problem. Sounds like he found a foolproof way of blowing stuff up.
Right.
Case closed.
Ray was determined to figure out how to shrink objects without blowing them up. But first, he went on a hike with his nature club.
The Adams
and
couldn't take
as a
it.
fellow
He was like,
scientist,
nah.
I have to question his priorities.
But hey, it seems to work for him. I support it. Different hikes for different mics, am I right?
While in a cave, the ceiling suddenly collapsed, trapping everyone inside. After searching high and low for another exit, Ray found a small opening and had an idea. He could try to shrink himself down and get help, even if it meant he might explode before he got the chance.
But he didn't explode. I hope this
Is he
story has a
upset?
happy ending at least.
Perplexed, Ray determined there must have been something special about him that made him uniquely immune to the explosive fate. Something super scientifically convenient that we never get any more information on.
So he got to work
Oh,
and
damn.
created himself a suit to harness the power of the white dwarf star and became the Atom!
There we go.
Adam uses the white dwarf fragment to decrease his size while having control over his density, which makes a lot of sense considering that white dwarfs have the mass of a star, like the sun, but their volume is more like the Earth's, making them among the densest objects in space.
Just a teaspoon of the stuff could weigh up to 100 tons.
Wow.
That's one strong spoon.
When Adam shrinks and shifts his weight, he's actually sending his extra mass to a dimension called the mass zone.
Where Adam could maybe live forever. At one point, Ray's apprentice Ryan Choi was murdered by Deathstroke, but willed some of his mass to the mass zone and was able to survive in that dimension. So
What?
these guys can potentially cheat death, but would be stuck there without any outside help.
But from one scientist to another, what's
Okay.
most
Okay.
impressive is Ray's creation of the bio belt. That's what allows Adam to use the power of the white dwarf and shrink while maintaining any weight, from immaterial to his full 180 pounds.
Okay.
There's even been times where it's stated that he was able to become almost as dense as a white dwarf star itself for a few seconds.
The belt is also how he can travel through phone lines or through the air on currents or light beams. Over time, Ray has spread out the white dwarf power to other parts of his suit, and now the bio belt acts as a utility belt for his shrunken weapons and tech.
Nice.
It also prevents his size or mass from being altered by any outside forces.
And while he can only increase his size back to his natural 6 feet in height, his ability to shrink is near limitless. He can travel between subatomic space to the microverse, the foundation of all reality in the DC universe, where atoms become the size
Over.
of planets.
Right.
Macro.
Typically, he
Macro.
can increase back to his normal size with such force he can smash through diamonds. So if Adam increases his size too much while still within the microverse, he could blow up the entire fabric of reality from the inside out.
Wow.
Shrinking down to that size means that he can shrink small enough to rearrange atoms themselves.
Wow.
Ray can take individual molecules and rapidly expand them to cook up a small nuclear blast in the palm of his hand.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie.
Wow.
Adam
Palmer.
Ray Palmer.
He also once disarmed a bomb by rearranging its atoms. At that size, he can move at the velocity of light. So fast and so randomly, he basically acted as a barrier between any and all possible atom combinations. But come on, there's no scientific explanation here for him to have superhuman senses or awareness to comprehend being everywhere at the same time.
Ah, it makes total sense. If you're small enough, you can fit in almost everything, everywhere, all at once. Like how you can fit an entire pizza into a calzone, and then you have a whole pizza everywhere inside the calzone. Man, I get it. Science is pizza.
No! Science
Well,
is all I have.
cooking
Why are
is
you doing this to me?
So,
On top of all of Ray's
Think
amazing
about it.
inventions and abilities, he's also got some more classic weapons, like a laser blaster and a frickin' sword he used to fight a giant crocodile. Relative to his size.
That was when Ray was believed to be dead, but was actually just stuck at 6 inches tall and stranded in the Amazon rainforest, where he encountered an alien race known as the Catarthans.
And get this,
that kinda-
he ended up being
What?
a
Kinda
bad, though.
tyrant king and became the ruler of all the Kardashians.
And his
Oh my
heroism
God.
didn't stop there. The Atom was a very well-respected hero, and was even asked to join the Justice League of America shortly after it was formed.
He fought alongside Batman and his best bud, Hawkman. And you don't fight with those guys without picking up a thing or two.
Impressive combat skills aside, Atom's greatest contribution to the legendary team was always his incredible mind.
He once created kryptonite inside of Superman by realizing that if he gathered up enough Kryptonian protons, they would eventually become radioactive.
While
Oh my
standing
God.
in limbo, Atom realized that if the Flash sped up the rate of a nuclear reaction's stellar evolution to exhaust its core, they could turn a fire demon into a black hole and use it as a wormhole to get back to Earth.
He's a brilliant, hard-working, and determined scientist that never stops working on a problem until he's found a solution. I mean, if I figured out how to blow stuff up as well as he did, I would have stopped right there. I'm
Right.
the hero that blows stuff up. Wouldn't even need to change my name.
Ray Palmer lived the dream,
Boomer.
going from research scientist
Right.
to legendary superhero. He picked up the pieces presented to him and built something greater than the sum of its parts.
Who knew this tiny titan with
I like the way they
massive
said
brains would have just
Yeah.
as much brawn to back it up?
Alright, the combatants are set. We've run the data through
Let's
all
go.
possibilities.
I ain't gonna lie, I like Adam's explanation certain parts of like what he
Better
could do.
than Ant-Man.
Ant-Man, yeah, like it was like, oh, that's pretty clever. That's the way,
Yeah.
the way they really thought that out.
You should pick on someone your own size, relatively speaking.
oh,
How did you do this? It's laced with a particle I've never seen before. They're called Pym particles.
It's in my particle.
And Scientist Supreme, you should have knocked.
He genuinely wants to know. He ain't
Yeah.
trying to be mad or anything.
Yeah.
That's why I like Adam, because he's just like a big nerd. He's like, I really want to know the answer.
He said, no! He's about to get crushed.
I know. A little tiny battle.
You're
Right.
mixing pieces of a white dwarf star? That's cute. Everything we needed already existed. We just needed to be smart enough to put the pieces together.
That's what I be saying, man. I say the same thing.
They having verbal battles too?
Yes.
Did you know that at any given moment, there are about 2.5 million ants under your feet?
I mean, that makes sense, but why are you bringing that up right now?
Because they're right under you. Uh-oh.
I'll fight them too. What's up?
Release my sword.
Right.
Uh-oh.
I'm like, you trying to jump me with your friend?
Took you
Right.
long enough. Okay, let's try this.
I'm about to say, what's that?
Yeah.
I'll hack his belt. You lay low and let me know what you find. Huh?
Say yes,
Yes, queen.
Let's try.
If I search every electron path in his gun and study their probability wave functions,
See, this is why I love Adam.
might be able to.
The microverse.
microverse.
Okay.
Got a whole bomb in his hand.
What's happening? He must be reaching his limit. If we don't get out of here quick, he's
He's
gonna
gonna
destroy all of
explode.
reality. Now, my pets! You have
Uh-oh.
your tricks and your tools, but I created something beyond the limits of human existence. I operate on a scale you can't even comprehend.
It's kind of cold right there. That was kind of cold right there. I ain't gonna lie. Overspace. Oh,
Overspace.
god dang it.
Oh, Lord.
You can't be afraid to think big.
Oh.
Oh, that was... I was not expecting that. Oh, god.
Right.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my
Ant-Man
God.
and Adam both had many answers to each other's abilities and arsenals. Both were able to store various weapons at a shrunken state, both were trained in judo, and they both could obviously keep up with each other's ability to shrink at will.
Though there was one small thing Adam couldn't answer to. The ants! Hank's bond with his pets lent him some small advantages, and Ray just didn't have
He ain't
enough
jumping 'em.
giant tools.
Right.
Like, of course.
But in Adam's defense, the fact that he could punch with a fist packed with all of his mass meant that a close-up fight, while small, would
Would
leave
actually
Hank
hurt.
with few options
Yeah.
since he can only punch with his normal human strength.
Even still, all Ant-Man would need to do is keep his dissed ants with the help of his insect confidants and devise another plan of ant-tack. Something Hank has no shortage of.
For instance, Ant-Man could alter Adam's size thanks to the Pym particle field he generates. Hank would just need to stall long enough to remove or disable Adam's biobelt, and he's had no
Yeah,
trouble
that's the only
hacking
thing about
anything
that.
for
Yeah,
Adam.
Yeah.
bio
But
belt.
even with the bio belt busted, it wouldn't stop Adam's ability to shrink since the white dwarf power is contained throughout his suit. Destroying the belt only meant that Ant-Man could alter Adam's size.
Whereas Hank has literally rewritten his own biology to prevent outside size alteration.
he couldn't alter
and
him.
while Adam's
Yeah.
abilities are definitely impressive, they are limited. And Ant-Man simply aren't, at least by comparison. Hank could always match Ray's size or just take the fight to the overspace where he would have the edge, both physically and mentally.
The overspace can mess with the human mind, but we've seen that Hank can handle it.
But if the Scientist Supreme is really so smart, why didn't he just immediately go up Adam's butt and blow him up from the inside?
Oh my gosh.
What's wrong with you, Wiz? Aren't you a
Remember they said that's how they gonna beat
Everybody's
Thanos?
for Thanos,
This
yes.
is the meanest
See, he
thing.
could. I think he
Never
could.
Could have.
Adam sized up
Could've.
Ant-Man, but in the end,
They
he was
wanna
the one
animate
who
that.
had
Yeah, we got
to go.
The winner is
I need a what if episode of Ant-Man.
What if he did go up in
Thanks for watching.
sparks?
Stay tuned for new Death Metal
What if he
releases
did
every
blow
2
it up?
weeks this year. And click the join button.
That would be
to perks and
crazy.
extra
I
content.
need it. I
High
need
level
it,
members
bro.
get
I
to see
need
Death
it.
Battles
God.
before anyone
I
else,
need
so
it.
don't miss out.
Next time.
Okay.
Who's that?
This is
Who's that? Oh, I don't know.
Artorias.
Oh, I don't know these night guys. I'm sorry. Dark Souls vs Skyrim. Oh, yeah, I never played none of those games, so
Cool.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't play those.
I didn't play those.
I didn't play either
Sorry.
one.
I
I don't know.
Maybe
Sorry.
in the future? I
They
don't know.
both look. Never mind. Let me not start a war. Let me
Yeah. I already know where you're going with it.
Because I'm about to. Yeah.
Anyway, guys, comment below. Let's
Don't forget to like
subscribe.
and share.
This is what this is.